What's up? What it do? Cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown. And this is my weekly recap of my favorite show that's really starting to get under my nails. It's really starting to get under my skin. House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3. I am going to name this, this is what I'm personally putting the name on this episode, as War Has Arrived. Okay? No more of, oh, war is looming, war is coming. No, war is here. Okay? The episode starts off with the Blackwoods and the Bracken fighting, and then it turned into a whole like massacre where there's like just dozens and dozens of them just dead. So that's how we're starting off the episode. And of course the twins from the previous episode, they are buried together. And Jace has some words for his mother on the one brother, the quote-unquote traitor, being buried with his brother. And Rhaenyra just basically tells him, look, you know, he honored me and he held sight to his oath. So we're going to honor him and we're going to bury him with his brother. No questions asked. This is what's happening. So I am starting to see Rhaenyra in the vision of Viserys as a very cautious, very compassionate, and non-violent leader. While those are good qualities, y'all. I'm not taking away from that. They're good qualities to have. I just want Rhaenyra to go through King's Landing and just start chopping off heads. Get a machete, don't even say nothing. Just start going through the crowds and just clean off the body. One swift movement. That's it. And she's showing a lot of strength, but also a lot of restraint. And I'm like, rip the Band-Aid off, Rhaenyra. I don't even know how many other signs that they need. I really, really don't know. So you're starting to see a lot of Viserys' qualities come out of Rhaenyra in the course of all this stuff, even the last episode. And I'm noticing those reactive qualities happening in Jace, which is very funny because he's acting very Daemon-like. You know, he's ready to retaliate. He's ready to get at the enemy. And again, Rhaenyra is showing a lot of what I think she saw her father do in avoiding war where possible and looking for another route. So Rhaenys she comes and joins her, and she basically suggests that Otto Hightower would have never let something like this happen. This would have never gone down on his watch. Point blank, period. Aegon must have gone rogue. And she then, further states, look, maybe this is time for you to try to make peace with Alicent because she has a good heart. And I think that she would be the key to ending the bloodshed that is pending. It's really pending. And Rhaenyra really shuts that down pretty quick. She's like, the girl sent me a letter and stuff in between, my son dying and everything. I haven't even opened it. I haven't even looked at it. I've not even checked it. I really don't care what she said. So that's shut down. Then we cut to Sir Criston Cole, everyone's favorite. And he now has a new haircut and a new title. And he is late for court. And he's heading through the halls and he's seeing like the new knights that are there. They look, some of them are looking kind of lazy. They're sitting around and then they look up and see him. But you can see they don't really regard him as, well, not necessarily regard. They don't revere him, I'll say, as like a hero or, oh my God, Sir Criston Cole. Like, they're young kids because most of them are Aegon's friends. These are people that he used to hang out with and do whatever. So Criston is taking note of all this stuff. And he's like, there's a bunch of new like knights and stuff around. And Aegon is like, yeah, no, those are my peoples. Yeah, we lost so many people. And then somebody at the court, I forgot what his name was, but he made a reference to Criston, leaving the Knights Guard and becoming, the Hand and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting, kind of a stab at him in there. It was like, yeah, we had to get people, especially, the last, person we had to replace type of thing. So I thought that was cute. Aegon basically declares war. He's like, look, I heard about the Blackwoods and the Bracken and that whole massacre going on. And hey, that's a plus for us. And the other members of court are like, look, that's not necessarily a win because they basically have been at war with each other forever. So that's not necessarily a win, we should say. But Aegon is not having any of it. He's like, we'll take it. That's a win in our name. That's it. Alicent is not respected at court at all. She's making suggestions. She's trying to get them to see the full picture. And none of the men really value her opinion. You can even see her confidence just depleting, and she's looking like, why the hell did I even show up to this meeting if these stupid men are not even going to listen to me, including my son. So next, Kristen Cole, he decides, look, we're going to take Harrenhal. Now, Harrenhal, I did a little bit of research on because I was like, why is it so freaking important for Harrenhal? Harrenhal is basically a really big property that's next to, I believe, the riverfront, where the majority of the takeover is going to be. And so whoever has Harrenhal basically has an advantage on the competition. So, but there are a lot of pros and cons to Harrenhal that I found out as well. Is that Harrenhal is big, it is vast, but it needs a lot of repairs. It's in bad shape because the people that inhabit it right now, they just don't have the money to fix things and to do things. And it's very moist, I guess, because it's right there near the ocean. But there's a lot of damage. A lot of things need to be put in order with Harrenhal, but the funds are just not there. So there's pros and cons to Harrenhal. Yes, it's a pivotal point. Getting Harrenhal is going to be key in winning the war, but also it's going to take a lot of upkeep. So keep that in mind also. Now, let's see. Then they cut to... okay. Before we leave the council meeting, Aegon basically declares, he's going to go and he's going to take his dragon. I forgot who his dragon is. It's kind of hard to keep up with the dragons. I got a family tree thing that shows who's assigned to who and whose dragon is what, but I just haven't kept up with it. And then also, this season, they've not shown Aegon with his dragon, so that's another thing that's just like, I don't really too much know about that. But he declares that he's going, and the council is like trying to really, they're really trying to, discern him from going and be like, maybe you just stay around. He's like, no, I'm the king, and I'm about to be up in this war, and this is what I'm gonna do. So nobody can really talk to him. Nobody can tell him anything. Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke was Rhaenyra's dragon. Rhaenyra was married to Rhaenyra first. That was her cousin. That was Corlys and Rhaenys' son. Now, if you know from the first season, you know that Rhaenyra faked his death to go be with his lover. And I guess I never thought about what would happen to his dragon. I feel like they didn't make a whole bunch of reference to it. And I don't think he ever rode the dragon last season. Not that I remember. But so his dragon was Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke is out there crying and almost wailing in pain, or you just never know. And so the chick that is the ex-prisoner, ex-whore, and now she tells Rhaenyra that she wants a place at court. Rhaenyra's like, really? You want a place in court? But you was trying to just leave. She was like, yeah, but I see how you showed mercy on me, and you're someone that I would want to be under. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, she basically said, okay, well, we'll figure something out. And she turns to Rhaenyra and was like, are they always like this? And she's, seeing Sea Smoke in the sky, crying and kind of wailing. And she's like, oh, sometimes they just do that for whatever reason. And the girl turns to her and she's like, well, maybe he's lonely. So for me, it was like a double meaning. Like, maybe he's lonely, like he's ready for a new rider. Why doesn't he have a rider? But also maybe he's lonely is kind of piggybacking off of Rhaenyra being without Daemon. I don't know. But I also was thinking, what if, these dragons are connected to their riders, okay? They're super connected to where they feel the pain that the person feels. Like in episode 1, Rhaenyra's dragon was crying and wailing at, the wing of Luke's dragon, and understanding and knowing that Luke was gone and also her baby was gone. So why wouldn't Sea Smoke possibly know that Rhaenyra is alive somewhere and just, I don't know, maybe feels rejected? But I feel like maybe Sea Smoke knows something. I think it would be really cool for Rhaenyra to come back. I don't think that he would come back willingly, but it definitely would be an interesting story. If we're going to get things started, let's go ahead and get it all the way started, okay? That's what I feel about it. That's just my take. That's my little 2 cents, okay? Okay, so Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is Daemon and I want to say Rhaenyra's child. And you guys know last season, Rhaenyra, she basically committed suicide because she was having complications with her pregnancy and she just couldn't take it no more. And she Dracarys herself, which is very hard to watch. I was like, girl, just barbecue yourself. It was terrible. But anyways, Rhaenyra is now getting word from Rhaenyra that she is sending Joffrey and the 2 other babies with her cousin Lady Jane Eyre, and they're sending them to Ward. And she's giving Lady Jane Eyre Lady Jane Eyre is giving Rhaenyra an army. In exchange, she's going to get a dragon. And you kind of see Rhaenyra kind of perk up because she's like, oh shit, she's getting a dragon. Maybe I'll get a dragon. Well, Rhaenyra is now asked to accompany them and to basically be the mother that Rhaenyra can't be in their life right now. And that got to be one heck of a gut punch. That's got to be just... Number one, and maybe somebody out there, please message me and let me know. Why doesn't Rhaenyra have a dragon? I do not understand how that works or how that is, because there's plenty of dragons that go along. And I mean, dragons are being stolen all day, Aemond. But I do not understand. How does she not have a dragon? And everybody else can have a dragon. So you can kind of see she is not happy about this assignment. Rhaenyra basically tells her, look, I need you to just take this willingly, please. I know that this is a sacrifice. This is one hell of an ask. You want me to go off, and not only do you want me to go off, you want me to go where my mother died. That's what she wants her to go, where it's far enough away to keep all of them safe. And she's sending her with the babies, and this is the first shot that we get of Daenerys's eggs. We get a look at Daenerys's eggs, which I thought was so cool. I thought that was like super cute because it just never was really talked about, and I didn't really get any back from that. But we got a glimpse of Daenerys's dragon eggs, and these eggs were carried on for centuries, right? So this was Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. So those 3 eggs we get a glance of, and we get a little bit of story on that one. But yeah, if anyone out there can tell me why Rhaenyra does not have a dragon, I would love to know that. I would absolutely love to know. Now, back to Daemon. Daemon takes Harrenhal, and he's going like he's ready to just murk everybody. Like, Daemon is on the energy that I would like for Rhaenyra to have. Like, he is next, just trying to just get everybody. Whoever's there, he is coming for blood. And he goes in there full armor. He's ready to fight. And the people just basically, they concede and was like, oh. And, he comes in and he's like, hey, I'm taking Harrenhal. I'm declaring this in the name of, Queen Rhaenyra and all that stuff. And they're like, okay. Like they were, like he was fully prepared to fight. Fully prepared. But, yeah, there was no fight at all. They tried to feed him, and he said that he wasn't going to try to eat poison food. And they were like, look, you're welcome here. There's no need for you to be, on guard or anything. And that's when Daemon brings up Larys. And he's like, look, Larys is your cousin. How do I know that you don't have any kind of alignment with him? And the cousin basically was like, look, Larys killed my nephew and his son. I know that he's behind it. He's like, Harrenhal right here. This whole compound is like super moist and they died by fire. That is unusual. And so he said, he basically, stakes his claim on not being affiliated with Larys at all. You can kind of tell that Daemon is not amused. He doesn't really know what to believe, but he takes the guy's word and is like, you know what, whatever. What I thought was really cute is that they made a reference to Grover Tully. And that is the gentleman that Daemon demanded to speak with to, put his full claim down and all the things. And I found out later on that there are a lot of Sesame Street references, y'all. So there's Grover Tully, there's an Elmo, and there's a Kermit. I don't know if we're going to hear about Elmo or Kermit next. I was so excited. I was like, that is so cute. That is so cute. So we go further on. Alicent's brother, who we've never heard anything about. I don't remember them talking about her having a brother ever. I pretty much figured that she was the only child. But evidently she has a brother. I think his name was Elmer or something. Or Elmore. I don't know what his name was. But he gets introduced to Christian Cole. And he's like looking him up and down. He's like, yeah, I wanted to get a good eye on the guy that took my dad's job, basically. And he's like, yeah, I'm coming along with you guys. And Christian Cole is like, no, we pretty much have enough people, blah, blah, blah. And Alicent insists, well, she is the queen. And that's basically what that is. So he is going along with them. Now, they flash back and flip scenes. Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is also not very respected by her council. Every time that she makes any kind of idea known or puts her 2 cents into it, it's shut down. It's disrespected. It's just like pulled under, and it's just very annoying. You could see her frustration to where she just like walks off. And Rhaenys reminds him, look, this is your queen. You will respect her. She wears my family's crest. It will be respected. Understand your place. So Rhaenys, like, even though I'm so mad at her from the first season where she could have killed all the Greens at once, she really has Rhaenyra's back. She wants Rhaenyra to win. I think that she understands that. Rhaenyra, this is her time to shine. And Rhaenys is really trying to be of good counsel to her. And it's a beautiful thing. Because especially first season, they didn't have the best of relationships. And you could kind of tell Rhaenys was a little jealous of Rhaenyra. But with her father gone and her son and all that, I think that Rhaenys really has come full circle. And she is all team Rhaenyra. All team Rhaenyra. And I love seeing that. So yeah, they do the big send off. Rhaena is not happy, but she's doing what, she was asked to do. And she's trying to be positive about it. She hugs and kisses Baela. And in that moment, you realize that Rhaenyra will never see her children again. Those children there that she's sending off to safety and stuff, she will never see them again. And that's kind of just like a wow moment. You're like, wow, that's wild. Helena is the only green I feel that has a heart, that really cares. And she's talking about, I shouldn't feel bad for losing my son, because people lose kids every day, especially, the common people. They lose their kids all the time. And I feel like I shouldn't even really grieve Jaehaerys like that, because they're dealing with it on a way bigger scale. And Alicent then comforts her, sort of, and was like, you have as much right to grieve as they do. And, and she's like, well, what about you? And she's like, Jaehaerys was my grandson. I love him, but my concern is more about you. And then Helena kind of gets up and walks, and she turns and she's like, I forgive you. And I'm like, oh, snap. Oh, she's like, I forgive you. And Alicent says, what? And she repeats herself. And nothing else is spoken, but it's understood that Helena understands and knows, you were sitting up here screwing Sir Christian Cole when he could have been saving me and my babies. That's really what it comes down to. So no further words really needed to be spoken. And that's what that is. Next, they cut to Aegon. Aegon is getting ready for war. He's got the full armor on. This is what the other Aegon was wearing. Oh, he about to do this, to that. And so him and his guardsmen and everybody, they're getting ready. And here comes Laris. Or Laris. I don't know if it's Laris or Laris. But y'all know, the man with the limp man. Mm-hmm. So here he comes, and he's like, oh, my king, I need to, have a word with you. I see you're getting ready. Let me just share with you what's been in the gossip mill in town, what people are talking about. He's like, gossip mill, what's going on? Now, as a real king, you shouldn't be worried or concerned, but that's just showing the immaturity of Aegon. He's still a kid in a very prominent position. And Lares basically shares with him, he's like, people are saying all kinds of things. They're saying that the council tricked you into going to war so that you could leave your mother and your brother in charge of the kingdom. And almost a light bulb goes off with Aegon. You can see it on his face. And he's like, thank you so much for sharing this with me. He doesn't realize Lares got ears everywhere. Lares know what's going on with everything. I believe Lares know that Alicent been sleeping with Christian, which is why she ain't let him see her feet recently. And he is just playing the long game. Lares may have a limp, but he's playing the long game, y'all. Long and smart. And so Aegon is like, I'm indebted to you and blah, blah, blah. And they cut scene. They let scene. So the bastard brother of Viserys and Daemon, he reveals himself in town. He's at like a local pub and he's bragging about being the bastard son and all these different things. And everybody's like, I don't know. You gotta, but he's super proud about it, but also like secretive because, he could get killed for this sort of thing. And before you know it, they're talking and here comes Aegon, y'all. Aegon is not going to war, so he decided to go for drinks in town like a commoner with his guardsmen to get the squire laid, okay? And so everybody, including the quote-unquote bastard son, halts to attention and, they announce the king and all that. And it still doesn't click for Aegon. He just doesn't get it. It's just, I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing. So Aegon goes through the brothel. I don't know why, and someone made the correlation. It was like, Aegon is just like going through the brothel, just opening up and looking at people and seeing what's happening. I don't know if I think he was looking for one woman in particular, but he goes through all it's the equivalent of like Joe Biden like going through a brothel and just opening up, like, oh, what y'all got on in here? What's going on? What's doing? That's weird, y'all. But again, he's immature. He's showing his immaturity. He's forgotten that he has a title that matters. And he can't just go through town. I was just screaming at the TV. I really was. Because I was just like, he is the freaking king. And he going through and going to go get seen at a brothel. Okay. So as he's going through and looking at everybody and seeing who's with what or looking for whoever, he finds Aemon. This scene will remind many of you from season 1 of what a bully Aegon has been to Aemon. I would say that Aegon has been more of a bully to Aemon than Luke and Jace ever were. Aegon has always been egging stuff on. And so he makes a whole spectacle of Aemon. Aemon is like curled up naked on that older lady, as usual. And you're just like, you feel bad for him, but at the same token, you're like, it is what it is. So Aemon is just very nasty, just very unnecessary. And so Aemon he gets up and you see him full frontal nudity. And I'm just like, we didn't need that. Like, y'all could have kept that one. We really didn't need it. And he walks out naked, So that's the end of him for the episode. Rhaenyra is conflicted. She decides to open up the letter from Alicent. We don't see what it says exactly, but something touches her or whatever. So now she decides to take Rhaenys's advice and meet with Alicent. So Sir Gwyn, that's what it is. Sir Gwyn is Alicent's brother. They're in the countryside, because remember, they're headed to Harrenhal, right? So they're in the countryside on their horses, and they're like, man, we finna go to town, go get some drinks, go get some hoes. We're about to go just enjoy ourselves. And Christian Cole spots a dragon. He tells them to hurry up and get to the forest. So they're like several yards away from the forest. And y'all know this is the first time we get to spot Baela and Moon Dancer in the sky. I was so proud. I was like, look at her with Moon Dancer. But Baela spotted them from way up yonder. She was up in the sky. Like, you couldn't even see them. And she spotted them. So just seeing her on Moon Dancer, it just gave me goosebumps because I was just so pumped and so ready to see another dragon. And eventually they get off into the forest. And she, quote unquote, can't decipher where they are. I'm like, girl, you could have blazed up that whole forest. Just barbecue it. Set that mug ablaze. So, Rhaenyra is starting to really hone in on who she is, her position, and making the council respect her. So she's not taking no shit from no more of the council. All right? Rhaenys is so proud. She has like her proud mama moment because she's like, yes, she's starting to really gain her bearings. And I'm loving that. Daemon starts hallucinating at Harrenhal, y'all. He is hallucinating. And a lot of it, I feel, is guilt. Because as much as Daemon wants to put on it, he's a hard guy and he's this, he's that, I feel like a part of it is guilt. And the other part of it is the truth of, I think he is still some sour about not getting the crown, not getting the throne. So he hallucinates and he sees younger Rhaenyra, and she is stitching up Jaehaerys's head to its body. And she's like, you always make messes and I always have to come up behind you and clean it up. And then he drops his sword, and then he ends up in this weird, like, witchy looking forest. And the chick from earlier in Harrenhal, she says to him, you will die in this place. And you're like, oh, what does that even mean? So I'm just like, wow. You don't know if she's a witch. It's kind of implied that something supernatural will be happening or has happened, but we don't 100% know yet. So I'm super, super duper excited about that. Next. Okay, so the ex-whore, the prisoner, but now has a place next to Rhaenyra. She advises her on Alicent's movements. Because Rhaenyra's like, look, I need to find Alicent. I need to have a conversation with her. we could possibly end this quote unquote looming war, which I'm like, war is here. People are dying already. Okay. War is already here. So she goes to King's Landing, basically dressed up as like a nun with one of her security detail or whatever. She meets Alicent in this church-like memorandum type of candle lighting room. It looks very Catholic type of thing. And at first, Alicent is annoyed because this nun lady or whatever is coming up next to her. There's a whole big old table that she could sit at, and she was pushing to sit next to Alicent. So you can kind of tell, like, it's like when you go to the public restroom, there's a whole bunch of stalls in the restroom. And then that person comes and sits right next to your stall. Like, it's just weird. Like, there's like 4 or 5 other stalls. Like, did you have to sit next to me? That type of feel. So you get that type of annoyance from Alicent. And then when she realizes, she almost screams. And Rhaenyra kind of simmers it down. So Rhaenyra lays everything out. And she basically asks him, look, can we just do a truce? Can we just like call everything off? And Alicent is like, no, we can't just call everything off. That's not, that's not what it is, And Rhaenyra is like, look, my father, he promised me the crown. Even you said that I would make a great queen. And she's like, yes, but that was before your father changed his mind. She's like, your father changed his mind, Rhaenyra. He changed his mind. And she was like, did he even mention me in the end? Did he say my name? And she's like, no. He mentioned Aegon. And he mentioned Aegon the Conqueror. And the prince that was promised. And I remember this of being the story that the kings would share with their heirs. So Alicent would never know the story. But Rhaenyra would, because he told her the story. And in that moment, Rhaenyra understands he was talking about the story because he thought he was talking to me. Rhaenyra, not you, Alicent. And they come into the realization in that moment he was talking about the story and he was not talking about his son Aegon. And so they both realize it, and it's just like this aha moment. And Rhaenyra's like, well, look, now it was just a misunderstanding. It was a mistake, and Alicent said, there's no mistake. There's no mistake. She's in denial. She's in complete denial because, again, now we understand fully that she is not respected. Her opinion does not matter. And even if she had the answer to the universe, they would never listen to her. And she understands that. This war is already underway. And there's nothing that she could do anyways. But even if she decided that she wanted to stop it, it would have no effect. And she understood that in that moment. And she said that to Rhaenyra. And it was just like, it's too late. I think she even said it. It's too late, Rhaenyra. It's too late. Which is true. It's been too late because the war has already happened. The war is it's ongoing. And that was basically it, So with them talking about, war is looming. War is not looming. War is here. Rhaenyra has a moment of recognition and she knows what she needs to do next. And so the next episode is supposed to be the Dance of the Dragons, which is supposed to be, some of the dragons, they finna scrap it out. Scrap it out. So that was interesting. Overall, I just really want Rhaenyra to massacre some people because her baby is gone and everything has been stripped from her. Her daddy gone, her baby gone, her man gone. She ain't got a whole lot to be positive right now. I'm like, I get it. You want to try peace before violence. But after they kill my baby, it's violence all the way. So that is my take on it, y'all. What do y'all think about it? What do y'all think is going to happen with episode 4? It's going to be interesting, but I want to see more anger. I want to see more just Rhaenyra expressing her feelings because I feel like she hasn't really done that in this season. and really just like be angry, scream out something, slap somebody. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think. If you want to follow me across social and you don't know where to look, where to find me, I am One Love Ash, the number one, LOVEASH. And of course, I am the host of the Ash Said It Show. All right, if you want to check out some good positivity, some good vibrations, darling, check out the Ash Said It Show. And if you want to check out ashsaidit.com, I got some pretty cool stuff up there. But I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. And I look forward to the next episode recap. Deuces!